Mario Kart.
Hello and welcome to Mario Kart 64, as Mario himself just said, where this is the second game of the Mario Kart arc that I will be going on the channel this year. The last game we played was Super Mario Kart, and it was nothing but pain and agony and suffering. So, but we did it. Well, we didn't do it. I quit not halfway through. I quit almost at the end because I just couldn't take it anymore because I was just having that little fun playing that game. And because of that, I took quite a while off from recording Mario Kart games for a while. It's been almost a week since I recorded the ends of Super Mario Kart. So, I've taken a bit of a break, and hopefully that break will allow me to go into this game with a fresh set of eyes and not still reeling from the pain that was Super Mario Kart. So, let's get started. We're going to start off with 50cc as usual, and it looks like everything's unlocked this time, which means I won't have to worry about actually finishing first, and hopefully I won't have to worry about not ranking out either. That'd be cool if I wouldn't need to worry about ranking out. Please, I beg of you, game. And as was the case with Super Mario Kart, I have never played this game either. Obviously, I've played a lot of the tracks from it because they've all been remade. For instance, Toad's Turnpike, Mario Raceway, Wario Stadium, Sherbet Land, Royal Raceway, and Bowser's Castle, Deacon's Jungle Parkway, Yoshi Valley, and Rainbow Road. I've played a lot of these courses in other games, but this game itself I've never touched this before, so this is going to be a brand new experience for me. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road and begin the 50cc Mushroom Cup with Luigi Raceway, Moo Moo Farm, Koopa Troopa Beach, and Calamari Desert. Let us begin! Hell, look at that, we can actually see the name of the course this time. Who'd have thought it? I didn't know that being able to see what course you're actually racing was a thing in this game. Okay, so the first thing that I was told in a comment was to absolutely never drift under any circumstance. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to try to drift and... Oh, okay. Apparently someone doused my wheels in butter before the game began. I was not aware of that. Alright, lesson learned. So yeah, I was warned. Someone wrote in a comment, whatever you do, never drift. So my first thought was, okay, so obviously I'm gonna drift then, because I must see, okay, what's my item button? It's not A, because A's accelerated in this game. Is it X? Okay, X is the item button, good to know. So, drifting. Turns out, pretty bad idea. Definitely don't want to do that. I also don't seem to need to do that, because it seems like I'm able to make every turn without even drifting at all, so I guess that works. Anyway. Yeah, so that's the general gist of this, is that I've never played the game before, but I've played a lot of the courses from it previously. But I'll say this much, so far, it's controlling very well. I mean, well, maybe that's an over-exaggeration. It's not controlling perfect. Like, it's definitely a little slippery, not as slippery and annoying as Super Mario Kart, but it is still a little slippery, so, you know, there's that. But hey, I'll take a little slippery over, good God, please let me play anything else type of slippery. This is a breath of fresh air after playing Super Mario Kart. This is actually kind of fun. I'm actually having, I mean, granted it's like 50cc slope, so I'm not going super fast. But, and I also started off my Super Mario Kart Let's Play by saying, hey, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, you know, maybe my statements will age poorly yet again, and by the time I get to 150cc, I'll be like, wow, this game sucks. But even if we compare both episode 1s, this game is controlling way better in episode 1. Also, it looks like I still can't, because I'm holding back on the control stick. It looks like I still can't, maybe I need to use the D-pad. It looks like I still can't fire items behind me, which is the big set. Let me try using the D-pad. Well, I don't know what happened there. I think there was a massive collision, a massive three-way collision on the road. Oh, you are not winning this. I'm not losing after having coming that far. After having coming that far? No, take all my shells. Okay. So you can throw them behind you sometimes, not all the times. I know it's a little wonky. But yeah, that was fine. That was kind of fun, actually. I didn't hate that. In fact, I actually kind of enjoyed it. Again, could very well get to get to 150cc and completely do a 180 and decide that this game controls like garbage. But for right now, that was fun. I enjoyed that race. I thoroughly enjoyed that race. And this feels like a game where I won't have to do... Oh wait, can you even rewind? Let me try. Ah, you can't even rewind N64 games. You need to... Okay, that's interesting. Because you can rewind the SNES games, you can't rewind the N64 games. I'm guessing that's because they're 3D, so it would take a bit more, horsepower, not horsepower, you know what I mean, take a bit more, technologically speaking, in order to pull that off, so I understand that. But I also don't, where I was going with that was, I don't actually feel the need to rewind in this game. Because in Super Mario Kart, the reason I kept rewinding so much is because, A, you need to rank in the top 4 spots, or else you just fail and you can't play the rest of the cup, which I really don't like. I don't think that's how that's how the racing system should work at all. Just generally speaking. But that's also, I've come to learn more about the development of that game, or not the development, but how it works since release, or since I did that, because I watched someone else's Let's Play on it. Apparently, each character has a rival who's just destined to be a pain in your ass the entire time, but they don't tell you about that, so it's just like, oh, well, I guess this person's going to torture you the entire race. Have fun, I guess. So yeah, that's how that works, I suppose. But hey, you know, we made it through. We made it through somehow, against all odds. We managed to survive Super Mario Kart, and I never have to play it again. So now I can actually enjoy playing this game, because this is generally pretty enjoyable so far, surprisingly. And I don't feel the need to rewind, because, again, assuming there is no ranking out in this game, which I hope there is not, and even if there is, this feels like a game where I can actually control Mario, or control the racers decently well, and not have to worry about sliding all over the place, so long as I don't push the drift key, which I've learned my lesson not to do. So we should be okay. We should be totally okay with this. Just as long as I don't drift, because this doesn't feel, I mean, again, it's still like a tad slippery, and I think I'm gonna lose now because of that and that alone. That one thing nudge just screwed me over, but you know what, we're fine, we're still fine. I'll take second place. I will accept the second place finish for my second ever race in this game. It is definitely still a little slippery, won't deny that, but it's significantly better than the last game, by a long shot. Anyway, what I'd like to do for this video is just quickly clean up the leftover topic from the last video, which is going over some of my favorite movies of all time. Because I covered some of the top ones, like obviously I covered the Toy Story movies, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Aladdin, things like that. But there's still a few more I want to discuss really quickly, just to kind of round out that question, then we'll move on to a different topic for the next episode. So I'm not going to go in depth for these, because I do want to actually get it done in this video, so it still doesn't bleed over into the rest of the Let's Play. But so some other movies that are really high on my list of personal rankings is Wreck-It Ralph. That's a big one. I absolutely adore Wreck-It Ralph. It feels like it's a movie about video games that feels like it was made by people who love video games, not by some corporate shill who's like, how do you do, fellow kids? Do you like games? I like the vidya games. Do you want to play some vidya games? Do you like Fortnite? I like the Fortnites. I'm a big fan of the Fortnites, actually. This feels like a movie made by people who understand video games, why people love them, what makes them so great, not by people who just want to capitalize off it to make a quick buck. That's what Wreck-It Ralph. That's what Wreck-It Ralph doesn't feel like, and it's amazing. Because yes, it does. Of course, it does have video game references in it, like, you know, Sonic makes a cameo, and there's obviously that's a lot of bananas. Okay, I guess he just ate all the bananas. Every single one of those bananas Bowser just ate. Okay. Also, that was a delayed reaction to me hitting that banana, interestingly enough. But yeah, so aside from all the video, it does have video game references, but they're not shoved down your throat like they are in other movies. So it does have a genuine, heartfelt character story to tell between Ralph, Vanellope, Felix Calhoun, and just the story of the arcade, and the plot's really well thought out. The villain doesn't succumb to the typical trope that something like Frozen would succumb to, if you know what I mean. So overall, just a massive fan of Wreck-It Ralph. I love that movie. I said I wasn't gonna be going in depth, and then I went in depth. Well, I need to stop doing it. Okay, so next one, Over the Hedge, underrated classic. Really love RJ and Vern's character work in that movie, and the arcs that they go on. Also, I don't think Toad should be able to get around that corner as fast as I was, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Over the Hedge gets a lot of flack, I think, but I think it's unwarranted. I do think that the film has some really strong character work, an awesome soundtrack, pretty entertaining plot as well. So I would give it. I mean, I don't know if I'd say it's one of the. It's one of my personal favorites. I don't know if I would say it's one of the actual best movies ever. Like in terms of its objective quality, it's probably not up there with some of the greatest of all time or anything. But it's definitely one of my personal favorites. I definitely have a lot of emotional connection to Over the Hedge as a film. So there's that. Beyond that, the Kung Fu Panda trilogy, big fan of the Kung Fu Panda trilogy. If I were to rank them individually, first and second one are pretty much tied. First one might be slightly better, slightly, but not by much. They're both really solid. Third one's the weakest overall in terms of its plot, but the character work, it ends the trilogy in a great way, is what I'll say. It ends the trilogy in a very, very great way for all the main characters. So it's a nice, it rounds out the trilogy in a nice way. So there's that. Obviously, Lion King is an all-time classic. Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension is an incredible movie. Like, that's a near 10 out of 10 movie. Okay, so question, what's the point of being able to do a turbo start if we're all lined up like dominoes that don't fall over? So basically it's more advantageous to not do the turbo start, because if you do the turbo start, then you just bonk into the person in front of you unless you're at the front of the pack. Okay, don't know how I feel about that. Don't know how I feel about that one there, game. I feel like that's a little wonky. What do we do here? Oh, does the train... Okay, the train moves out. I was worried that the train wasn't gonna... What happened there? They just stopped. They just did a Lightning McQueen and let me pass by. Okay, I'm not gonna complain. If you want to do a Lightning McQueen from Cars and just sit at the finish line and wait for me to pass, don't mind if I do. I'll keep strolling by. But yeah, the Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension is an incredible movie. It's the only time where Phineas and Ferb get to interact with Perry. Well, I guess I should say Phineas, because obviously Ferb doesn't really talk all that much. But he gets to interact with Perry as Agent P and not as Perry the Platypus. So the dynamic they share there is incredible. The dynamic between all the characters is great. The way it kind of brings together everything that happened prior to that point in the series into one final climactic battle. The music is as great as always. I just really love that movie. Parental Guidance is probably a film you've never heard of, but it's a film that doesn't get a lot of great public reception. I'm guessing most people don't even know it exists. And while it's not like one of the greatest movies ever made or anything, I do find its comedy to be genuinely hilarious. And I think it has a really nice, heartfelt, emotional through line with all the kids. Because it's about a family where there's the three kids. I don't want to spoil it, but basically, the three kids all have personal problems that they need to deal with. And then they all have a really nice emotional through line for their arcs throughout the course of the movie. And the way it's handled is really, really cool. I just don't think it gets the credit that it deserves. So that's a film I recommend you checking out. I didn't want to hit that banana, but that was annoying. Also, does it feel like they're just on my rear end the entire time? I feel like they shouldn't be this close to me. I feel like the AI is just constantly right on my tail the entire race. No. This feels a little wonky. It's weird. I don't know. Anyway, more movies. What's else? Obviously, well, I mean, it's memeable to death, sure, but Shrek is genuinely incredible. First two movies are fantastic. Third movie doesn't exist, and then the fourth movie isn't as good as the first two. Of course not, but it still tells a pretty solid story and ends the trilogy, because again, movie 3 doesn't exist, in a very, very solid way. And let me win! Let me win! Yes, I win! Okay. The gold trophy's mine, Toad. You stay back there in second. Gold trophy's mine. Madagascar movies are not great, but they're really fun, and I like them a lot. Searching is a really underrated film that has a really unique concept of... Basically, it's a story of a father whose daughter goes missing, and the story is told entirely through a screen, like a computer screen. So you essentially see his laptop screen as he searches through websites and talks to people over Skype and all that, as he tries to piece together what happened to his daughter. And most noteworthy is that while the actual whodunit of who was behind the kidnapping didn't surprise me, the mechanics behind it and the final plot twist genuinely had my jaw on the floor in the theater when I watched it for the first time. So that's glowing endorsement from me. Night at the Museum movies, again, not technically phenomenal films, but I really, really like them. I think they're a lot of fun. I also just like Ben Stiller, which might also have something to do with the Madagascar movies. And I do think the third movie ends in a really nice way to bring the trilogy together into a nice overarching cohesive picture. Tangled, another great Disney movie. Cloud Chance and Meatballs, obviously, you know that that's a phenomenal film. Then we don't talk about the second one. SpongeBob SquarePants movie is timeless. It's the only good SpongeBob movie, and I love it to bits. Since we just came off the holidays, holiday movies I love. The Home Alone duology, obviously. They're also the only two Home Alone movies that ever exist. Jingle All the Way, again, another movie that's not technically great, but I still love a lot. I find it a lot of fun to watch. It's also pretty endearing in terms of the overarching emotional arc. And even though that climax doesn't make any damn sense at all, man, is it so much fun to watch. Mission Impossible Fallout's another one that is just so well crafted in terms of the action sequences and the character work and the and just the general the plot itself is also fairly airtight. So I think that's definitely the peak of the Mission Impossible franchise. And I'm sorry I can't really go in depth with a lot of these. I kind of wanted to machine gun through them so I could get through them as quickly as possible, just so we can move on to a different topic for the next episode, so we don't linger on things for too long. But that's a general scope, and there's plenty more movies I could mention. The Peanuts movies, probably another one. Moana, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo. There's a lot of great movies out there that I couldn't mention, but those are the ones that immediately jumped to the top of my head in terms of ones that mean a lot to me. So hopefully that was a satisfactory answer. As far as this game's concerned, I had a lot of fun today. Way more fun than I ever expected to, honestly. This was a lot of fun to record, a lot of fun to play, and I'm looking forward to recording more. I never thought I'd say that, but you know what? That was fun. That was a fun time. I might change my tune when we get to 150cc, but for now, that was a lot of fun. Surprisingly so, in fact. So that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time. I hope to catch you all tomorrow for some more Mario Kart 64. Goodbye.